So this week on e-commerce Straight Talk, we're talking about LinkedIn doubling down on virtual events, high fashion brands getting into gaming, 6 major retailers are going all in on Omnichannel, how e-commerce fits into the post-pandemic world, and of course, Instagram releasing the new drop feature. Stick around. All right, hey folks, so this week on e-commerce Straight Talk, we're starting off, our first topic is we're talking about LinkedIn and how they are doubling down on pushing events to advertisers. This whole idea of virtual events and live events for really to generate more ad dollars. Now, 21 million LinkedIn members attended a virtual event on the platform last year, while its live streams increased more than 400% from September of 19 to September of 20. The latest updates come roughly after a month after LinkedIn said its ad revenue was up 60% year over year, surpassing $3 billion, which is incredible. So will virtual events continue with the traction they've held during the pandemic? My personal take on this is no, they will not. I think virtual events in general will, but attendance to events will not. And why I say that is because we've already been seeing this sort of virtual event fatigue so far in 2021, where we've attended so many different events where we've had thousands of people sign up, but less than even 10% actually show up. While most of the time it's just a lot of vendors, right? And so that can be very annoying, especially for a business working B2B. Now, what I do foresee is what this is really going to start pushing is more relevant content, so more relevant virtual events. But what we're also seeing is that there are a lot of folks trying to go to live events, right? And so I think with LinkedIn being able to push this idea, so sort of what Facebook has done where they're pushing live events, signups through the platform, I think that's what's going to be real big for LinkedIn moving into the second half of this year. And then of course into 2022 is this idea that people are trying to get back out and about, right? And I know obviously we've been seeing it across the board every time you go outside, like, if you want to go to the beach or the mountain or wherever, it's packed. So everyone's trying to get outdoors. They're trying to get back outside. They're trying to spend money back in stores. And on top of that, go back to real events where you can talk with people face to face. All right. Topic number 2, we're talking about high fashion brands getting into gaming. So Roblox is an online gaming platform. I'm pretty sure if you have kids, you've already heard of this platform. But users can immerse themselves in about 18 million virtual worlds, which is incredible, right? More worlds popping up every day. So in many worlds, players can buy items through the actual game itself, using their avatar shop and making themselves in this virtual world look different, seem different, feel different. And they use the game's currency, which is a Robux. So Gucci decided to mark its 100-year anniversary by creating the Gucci Garden. So this is a game made up of various themed rooms. As visitors wander the room, they can purchase exclusive virtual Gucci items for their avatar to wear. But one item in particular was really popular, and that's a limited edition virtual Dionysus, I don't even know how to pronounce that, bag with B. So with Gucci selling to gamers an original price of 475 Robux, which is the equivalent of $6 in the real world. But what happened was they started to see this resell of these products. So they had limited edition products, right? And so people who were buying them were reselling them in game for around 4,100 Robux, or about $800 in real life. And in fact, this selling of this product made more money virtually than it has in real life. So should we expect to see more brands get into gaming? I want to, initially say that obviously I think this is crazy, and I know you think this is crazy too. But it is sort of the way of things. It is the trend. It is the behaviors that we're seeing. So instead of fighting it, we try to go along with it, right? And I think that's what you'll see a lot of brands doing, is this idea that, okay, well, if it's working, why not keep going with it, right? Triple down on what works, kill what doesn't, and keep moving forward. And so, yeah, I do think you'll see more brands get into game. I think that what you'll see is more limited edition or specific products sold in game versus not sold in real life, and vice versa, right? Limited edition products that are sold in real life that are not sold in game. But to sort of see this and follow this idea and this trend of, because I think too, the biggest thing is you can get your head wrapped around this whole idea of playing a game. Okay, cool, that's fun. But spending real money in game, guess what? It happens every day. That's where Fortnite's fortune comes from. Are people buying kids buying these skins in game? So spending money in game is huge. I think it's a continual trend that we're going to see, and I definitely expect more brands to hop on this gaming bandwagon. All right, so third topic for today, retail stores are starting to increase their staffing and focusing on buy online, pick up in store, right? So we've discussed this in quite a few past episodes, but we're really now starting to see these retail brands, brick and mortar brands, trying to focus on omnichannel more and understanding what it really means for their business. We see Michaels, Ulta, Build-A-Bear, Madewell, Kendra Scott, Foot Locker going all in on omnichannel. We're seeing more and more of these big box stores take advantage of the new normal. So if you're just a regular Joe e-commerce store owner, how can you continue to take advantage and leverage omnichannel as well? And what we've seen over the past years, a lot of these box stores, this is how they made any revenue. Was moving through, BOPIS, or which is a funny word to say, but buy online, pick up in store. This idea that, hey, now we have an app, Walgreens, Walmart, Michaels, all these companies, that you go on the app, you order on the app, you set up time, come pick up in store, cool, you're in and out, right? And so this is a continual trend. But really, we have to look at omnichannel as a whole, especially for your regular Joe e-commerce store. And what we have to say is, okay, if you don't have a retail store, like an actual physical location, that's turned more into a distribution center than anything else, we have to change the word omnichannel to more cross-platform. And so to follow this same notion of be everywhere at all times, or omnipresent, omnichannel, right? The idea is we need to be on all these different platforms, whether it's Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. And obviously by testing out these different platforms and running ads on them and looking at your attribution levels, which I know is more difficult now with the iOS update, but you can still monitor that data. You can still use third-party analytics tools such as Wicked Reports, even Heroes. So check those out if you need to, but just with your Google Analytics and your platform data, you should be able to continue to take advantage of what's occurring in the market right now and continue to leverage that to grow. So topic number 4. So if we look at last year, right? And so much of this year has been predicated on what has occurred over the past year with these changing of behaviors and everything. So that's why we continue to go back and look at this data, and then the data that's moving on that we're seeing sort of shift into 2021. And we saw last year that e-commerce grew as much in the first 8 weeks of the pandemic as it did in the previous 8 years. So with brands making giant investments in the e-commerce over the past year, more and more brands feel they need to hop on this e-commerce bandwagon. Now, although folks are starting to get back out again and shopping in store, those, they're wanting to spend their money in local stores again, get those mom and pops back up and running. I do kind of see this just and I'm sure you see this in your day-to-day, how folks are trying to make a point to go spend their money to these local mom and pops, local stores versus a Walmart or an Amazon, unless you need to, right? But we do see 38% of consumers intend to do more shopping online and visit stores in person, as long as they provide great experiences. So instead of asking ourselves, how does e-commerce fit into a post-pandemic world? What we should be asking is, what customer experience do I need to offer, more especially through my e-commerce store? And I think if we look at customer experience, customer service falls under that same line, right? It's decreasing friction, right? So the process in which it takes to check out, the process in which it takes to do research and find information about the product that we want to know so that we can make an informed decision to purchase. But then also that experience post-purchase. So after I buy, what's that experience, right? I think Amazon does a great, is great at this because they understand that speed is the best customer service. That may not be a viable option for your regular Joe e-commerce store, right? You're not Amazon, you're not this giant corporation that can afford that and has the distribution in place to do that. So what more we can do is continue that conversation with the consumer post-purchase. And I think that's where a lot of brands fall off, is as soon as a customer buys something from them, it's like they're just lost in the ecosystem now, right? People, I know, newer brands are really focused heavily on acquisition and driving new customers, which is great. But what they do is they lose that retention piece, and they lack the understanding of what more you need to continue to do to increase that customer loyalty, to win them back again, to increase that customer experience. And so I think that's what we really need to focus on now, is what customer experience do I need to offer? And I think that's the question we have to ask ourselves to really go into the rest of this year and into 2022, this post-pandemic world. Like I said, it's not necessarily how does e-commerce fit into this world, it's what is our customer experience and how can we improve that. All right, so topic 5, our last topic for the day. So Instagram just released a feature that, a featured update that is definitely more relevant for retailers. It's the drops section. So it's a dedicated section where brands can release new products via Instagram shopping. Okay, sounds awesome, right? This is where we get into it. So a couple years ago, with the mobile mall renovations, Instagram has still been used for window shopping more than shopping, right? We see the same thing with platforms like Snapchat and even TikTok in some senses. But even though we've tried it, a lot of other brands have tried it, to the Instagram checkout, right? And Facebook has the same thing with Facebook shops and Instagram shops. But really, and we see this across the board, Instagram has yet to really generate meaningful purchase activity through the platform's actual checkout process. So I'm talking about Instagram shops. I'm not talking about sending, driving traffic on Instagram to your store. I'm talking about driving Instagram traffic through Instagram to check out through the app. So as we haven't really seen that come to fruition yet, which I believe it will, just due to decreased friction, right? I think we're probably looking 3 to 5 years down the road. But by introducing drops, Instagram isn't just directing shoppers to new releases, it's also helping retailers make that purchase journey more obvious on the app. So do you foresee this as a major impact on brand sales through Instagram? That's a question for you. I see this as, I guess my answer to the question would be yes. And why that is because you can consider Instagram just a giant community, right? And if you are a brand or a marketer or anyone who works with a Facebook group or those Facebook communities, that a lot of these brands are successful due to their drops within those communities. Now, granted, it's more manual, it's more engaging because you're already engaged with this community, right? Prime example is we've worked with a brand. They have a community of about 20,000 people, and every other Friday it's a new drop. And they sell out like gangbusters, and that's how they drive the bulk of their revenue. And it works really well for them. But how I see this in general is Instagram is the community, right? And these drops are drops for the community. And as people experience it more and gain more trust through the platform, I do foresee this to make a giant impact on brand sales. And I think what we'll see is we'll see major retailers lead the way with e-commerce brands to follow through. And then you'll see influencers starting to really push this and get on these bandwagons and hop on the momentum that is gained through these drops as well. Don't be surprised to see more and more brands pop up that all they do is drops. They don't really hold a lot of inventory. It's just drop after drop after drop after drop. All right, so that's it for this week. Listen to us every Thursday weekly, where we talk about the top e-commerce and retail trends, behaviors that we're seeing, purchase patterns, and all things e-commerce. Later.